Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, a quick travel vlog. Share a few tips if you're flying into Hong Kong mainly, and also if you fly through Europe like we did. We went to beautiful Belgium for 3 weeks, well actually a bit more than that now. And now we are in quarantine hotel, basically in a detention forced by the government of Hong Kong. We are in a very nice room, don't worry for us, good view, and the kids are actually enjoying it quite a bit. On the way out of Hong Kong, no test needed. Everything is as normal, pretty quiet. We were flying at midnight, we went there way too early, no need for that. Everything was very smooth, pretty big shock when you get to Europe. We were traveling through the hub of Frankfurt, and over there, it's a huge airport, nobody wears a mask. Not even the security check people, which is a bit weird, I think. And the airport there, you have to schedule at least an hour to be able to cross from an international gate to intra-Europe flight. There's long security checks. On the way in, it was very unpleasant. The staff was not very nice. On the way out, it was much easier, actually. And once in Belgium, occasionally we would put on the mask inside a shop or something, but for the most part we were living without it, and it was very enjoyable and refreshing. So there's a new wave of COVID, but it's already dwindling down. Some people still get quite sick. Turns out we did get COVID and we didn't even know it. More about that in a second. So when you fly back to Hong Kong, you have to have within 48 hours of the last leg of the flight, so for us would be from Frankfurt back to Hong Kong, you need to have a negative PCR test and fill in a bunch of online forms from Cathay Pacific and from the government. It takes a lot of little pictures, resizing and all that, so it takes a good hour. Be mindful of that. For the test, PCR test, normally you can get them at different places, mainly near hospitals, and account that it might take up to 24 hours to get the results. And it was a bit of a problem for us on our first scheduled flight back. The first problem is that Lufthansa is in total shambles. More than 70% of flights are delayed or cancelled, and since they are in partnership with Cathay Pacific, they were supposed to bring us from Brussels to Frankfurt. They cancelled, and I had to contact Cathay, and they would not offer any solution. I was the one who had to suggest to drive to Frankfurt. They said fine, but then you will not get compensation. Otherwise you can cancel everything, just stay where you are, goodbye, and then we will compensate. Very bizarre, and I'm not happy about that at all, Cathay Pacific. And when I pay a bit of an upcharge to be in a premium economy. So anyway, I book train tickets to go back to Frankfurt, which turned out to be a very bad idea. And since we're flying 2 days after the Belgian national holiday, I couldn't do the test on the 21st of July. I did it on the 22nd of July, and we were leaving on the 23rd. So we did not have the test when we set on our journey by train to Frankfurt. Leaving Belgium was okay, no issue, no delay. But midway through in Cologne in Germany, they announced pretty casually that the train would not go to the airport as scheduled and would stop in Cologne. So we got stuck there. I was refreshing my emails to get the PCR test results, waiting for a train that was an hour later and delayed by another 45 minutes. That train would anyway probably would get us too late to the Frankfurt airport, which is huge, takes a long time to check in and all that, especially at midday. If you can fly early in the mornings, these days, all the airports, Frankfurt, Brussels, Amsterdam, Heathrow are saturated. They haven't rehired enough staff to handle baggages, security and everything. So there are very long queues. You have to schedule long layovers if you can between the legs of your flights. Anyway, back to my story. We were waiting for a train in Cologne. I refresh, I get the results. The three of us were lightly COVID positive. and it was saying already probably not contagious, and all that. So very big shock. And so we decided to go back to Belgium, reschedule the flight, and enjoy a few more days in Belgium, which turned out to be quite nice, actually. But what wasn't nice was trying to contact Cathay Pacific again. You cannot manage your booking online. No phone call provided. You have to send a WhatsApp and wait sometimes up to 12 hours to get an answer. And the answer was next flight only has business seat available, which I don't believe is true. And the next flight after that for your same class that you had booked, the premium economy, would be in 2 weeks. So I considered staying that long, but working at night, not so easy. I had been gone for 3 weeks from work already. So I said, I asked about the premium, and it was very expensive, more than what I had paid to fly back in business, some 5,000 euros. And then in the end, I caved in. I said, okay, no reply. 8 hours later, somebody replied, middle of the night, saying it's going to be 7,000 euros or 8,000 euros, some crazy price. I got a bit angry on the WhatsApp, no reply again for 3 hours. Then somebody took our case. We discussed a bit. She reduced only slightly the price. It was really maddening. But anyway, I figured whatever, let's pay it. We haven't traveled for a long time. Let's give that premium experience to the kids, business class experience, and hope for the best. Now the flight was rescheduled from Brussels again. We didn't need to take the stupid train, which would probably put us too late to get to the airport. And we needed to do another PCR test, hoping to be negative. I did one the day before, make sure that I was negative, so the kids don't have to do too many of those tests, which are very painful actually, in Belgium at least. And I was negative, so the next day we all go together, we do the test, wait for the results. Next morning, the morning of the day before the flight, I'm negative, my son is negative, my daughter was still positive. Panic. My sister calls her husband, who knows someone in the basement of a hospital where they do tests, and who could do a test for us quickly with the results right away. He did, we did, and we got negative results for my daughter. So I was able to fill in the very long, very difficult online forms of Cathay Pacific and the Hong Kong government, who wants to know everything, where you've been, where you're going to be sitting, where you're going to stay in quarantine and all that. So another tip, schedule at least an hour or two to be able to fill in all those very demanding forms, and then the process will be very quick at the airport. Otherwise it will be a drag for you to do all that. So I fill in all that, and again the next day my sister came through for us. She woke up before 5 a.m. to drive us to the airport of Brussels. That's why I gave her my newly acquired Seiko GMT with the orange dial that she was eyeing already, and I thought it would be very fitting. Thank you for my sister. So she loves the watch. She never bought an expensive watch. Well, in the grand scheme of things, in my collection, it's not expensive, but for her, it's not an usual expense. So she was so happy. So I'm very happy that she has it, and maybe I will buy a watch again for myself here in Hong Kong. So everything went smoothly at the airport. Brussels airport is very nice. We had an hour delay again, but it's okay because there was a 4-hour layover in Frankfurt. We get there and everything went smoothly in Frankfurt actually. And once you get to your last terminal, you can get the stamp to get the taxes back, the VAT back on your luxury purchases. So I had a watch, I get the stamp back, and I will mail all that back to the retailer, who will refund me the 21% to my own account in Belgium. If you don't have an account, you can get your money back on your credit card there at the airport, minus a commission. Anyway, we went to the lounge, waiting for the plane, very nice. The flight went fantastic. You know, when you pay up with Cathay business class is super nice. And it went so fast, watching a couple of movies, putting the kids to bed, you know. all in all, it felt like 2 hours, and we got to Hong Kong, and this is when things get a bit bizarre, because it's like arriving in an authoritarian country at this point. It doesn't look at all like the departures. The arrivals, everything is barricaded, and you walk along those long barricades. It's a bit like arriving in North Korea. And we went through the PCR tests, and everybody is very nice actually. And it was very quick, because we were again very early in the morning. So if you can, I know it's hard, but if you can, it's important to get early in the morning right now in Hong Kong. After that, there was a bit of a bottleneck to get your quarantine order. So that's the government of Hong Kong ordering you to stay in a room, cannot go out, otherwise you go to jail. It's very bizarre to be instructed something like that for the first time in your life. And so the whole process took about 2 hours. And near the end, if you have tested negative, they let you out of the airport into the arrival hall there. Luckily, my daughter tested negative, so it was a big relief, and so we were out. There, a lot of people have to queue 1 or 2 hours to wait for a shuttle bus to their designated hotel. There's a few designated hotels, so you have to have that booking in advance. And as I said, we had to reschedule our flight, and very luckily, our hotel, the W Hotel, very nice hotel here in Hong Kong, I decided to pay a bit more to be comfortable with the kids. They had the same room available again for the rescheduled dates. I was very lucky, the last room that they have, but I guess they have lots of cancellations as well. So don't despair. If you need to reschedule with a hotel, call around, and hopefully you will find dates. But it's not easy. There's not that many hotels. They're very, they only have a few floors designated for the COVID quarantine. Some hotels have the whole hotel designated for that, but there you go. You have to search. But if you have to change your flight schedules, it gets very hairy, very difficult, very quickly, and you could be stuck for a long time. So if you still have to fly into Hong Kong in the next couple of months, favor a hotel where you have a membership, maybe like we did with Bonvoy. W is part of the Bonvoy chain of hotels, and it will give you a little bit of leverage. Now, next tip. We were at the arrival hall. People have to queue 1 or 2 hours. I had booked a private transport to the hotel. You can do it since this week. I had one from the hotel. You can also book a taxi. And so we were whisked by all the queues, by very nice staff, straight to Mercedes van, and straight to the hotel. So no waiting time. So door to door, all in all, at the airport, we spent 2 hours, which is much less than everybody else that have told me their stories. And at the hotel, you get to a separate entrance, of course, get to a separate floor. It's a bit creepy. And then they explain to you everything you're going to do. And the room here is very nice. They had to remove some items, add some more items, because you can't leave the room. Getting outside of the room is illegal. You can just open the door to put out the trash on the floor and pick up your food from the top of the table. And you can order anything you want also so there are set menus that you can order. These are included in the price, but you can order anything from the hotel menu. You can order from outside. People can bring to the concierge anything. So my wife brought us toys and snacks. So we have everything we need. And actually the kids are really enjoying being able to play their video games and all that without my wife telling them off all the time. But if you feel a bit claustrophobic, it can get to you very quickly, the cabin fever, because there's no windows you can open. There's no fresh air coming in. One night I turned off the aircon a bit, and then I realized it was getting very stuffy, and I was getting some asthma, and I started getting a bit nervous. I can imagine some people would go a bit crazy. And think of this, the quarantine used to be 3 weeks with your kids and all that. That's enough to cause some real mental disorder. It is very troubling for the first time in your life to be deprived of your liberty to walk out the door. It is very strange. You are in a true detention, courtesy of the authoritarian, we have to say the word, government of Hong Kong. And while I appreciate them trying to stop the COVID infection, 2 years into it, we have been vaccinated. The latest strain is not so strong. And most importantly, they catch about 200 cases right now at the airport, while they report 4,000 homegrown infections or more, which means there's probably a lot more, maybe 10,000 people walking around the streets infecting other people right now in Hong Kong. So the quarantine measures don't make any sense. We have been tested more than anybody in Hong Kong. So there's a PCR test before you fly. When you get here, we just got another one on the 3rd day of the quarantine. There will be one on the 5th day. You have to go another one on the 8th and the 12th day. So normally you get out on the 7th day if your tests have been negative so far. But once you're out, you still have to do more PCR tests. It's just overkill, and it's using a huge amount of resources. I can't imagine the cost of all that. And all the food we get, of course, comes in plastic things, but you can't recycle it because everything you touch in the room is biohazard and will be destroyed. You have to put them in specific bags, close them, and it's biohazard. So, I mean, the cost for the city is gigantic, and I think it is way, way overkill at this point. Once you've done your PCR test, you should be going home, or if you're a visitor, you should be going to your hotel. And if you feel unwell after a while, then you contact the authorities, or you stay, you quarantine yourself. That's the sane way to do it. And I really implore the new CEO of Hong Kong, John Lee, to quickly turn things around before Hong Kong loses anything that it has left as an international hub of interest, because this is crazy. Business people can't travel in and out of Hong Kong at all. It's just killing business, and it's especially imposing an indirect tax on the people of Hong Kong who pay lots of taxes, people like me who have family abroad, who haven't seen them in more than 2 years, even local people who have family in China haven't seen them in more than 2 years. And they can't even go to China, and the Chinese people can't even go in. It's even worse. But we have to pay for all this, for those quarantine hotels, the expensive flights. It's time to stop this. So really, it's up to the government. And I don't know what these people are thinking. Don't they have to travel? Don't they have any other interest than controlling people, really, and controlling the influx of people? Things to think about. And talking about waste in the room, yes, we have a lot of plastic toys, many of them made in China. I know I was talking about all the toxic trash, but it's true that we consume a lot of things through these travels, and we stocked up on toys and all that. Anyway, all kinds of things to consider, and I hope a few of my tips are going to be useful to you. If I have to summarize, I would say if you have layovers in Europe, make sure that they're as long as possible, fly as early as possible to any destinations that you have. If you fly into Hong Kong, you have to be fly ready, as they call it, at Cathay Pacific. So you have to fill in all the forms of Cathay and of the government to make sure that everything goes very smoothly. You get a QR code, and with that you can just go through everything at the airport very quickly. Without any stopping. Otherwise, you're going to have to do all that from there. And God knows if your phone is out of battery, then you're really shit out of luck. All right, so we have normally 4 more days of quarantine. We take it in stride. We try to stay cool. I think kids are enjoying it, but we are in total jet lag. It's going to be difficult to put them back into the rhythm. They want to stay up at night and sleep in the daytime. Let's see how that goes. The staff here has been very nice. They celebrated my daughter's birthday yesterday. I had told them that it was her birthday, and they prepared a nice cake with balloons. So big thank you to the W Experience team. And overall, we can't complain. We have a big room and all that. But yeah, being locked up for a week is not natural. It should not be happening at this stage in the life of with COVID, and the government of Hong Kong has to do something about it, because it is very unnatural for people to be detained like this. There you go. Let that sink in. I hope this was useful. Thank you for watching my little travel vlog, and keep it up, guys. Bye bye.